we do have Brian Ellison from Black Box Consulting. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Wow, you have a great radio voice, by the way.
Thank you very
right?
much. I appreciate it.
I mean, it's really good.
Thank you.
I bet you've been on radio before.
Once or twice.
Oh, yes. So that's good, and you love it, as my
I do.
ESP is telling me.
You are very good. Your intuition is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I might remember pre-game ceremonies that we talked. So
there may be that.
So Brian, to me, now I don't know a lot about web. We do. I'm a CPA, business consultant, and then we do a lot of radio. So that's what I pretty much know. But one thing I do know is I know what I don't know, and people need to know what's going on with web, IT, social media, SEO, and if you don't, and you don't keep up to date, you tell me what happens.
Yeah, you're moving against the industry tradition, that's for sure.
There's no question. Yeah. So tell us first about Black Box Consulting, when it started, a little bit of history. Sure. How it started, why it started, who you work with, those type of things.
Sure. So first of all, we started in September of 2008. Wonderful time to start a business. We started as primarily just an outsourced IT company that would support small to medium businesses.
Right.
We did that for a number of years, but in doing so, when you're an IT consultant, you have the tendency to build the rapport with the customer, and the customer starts asking you other related questions to
like
technology.
Web design.
Exactly. So we had customers that asked us for web development, search engine optimization, social media management, those types of services, which we didn't do and didn't offer at the time. So we decided to take on a couple of customers as proof of concept customers to make sure we actually had product to sell. Being that the nerds that we are in the development side, not the design side, so we don't offer graphic design. We don't do that. We're not artists. We are the code junkies in the background.
So how does that work then? On the back end, for example, on web design, you contract with, or the customer contracts with a graphic designer, and they work with you?
That's exactly right. They provide us the images, and we get them to show appropriately on the web.
Okay. But you build the whole structure.
Absolutely.
And you just pop in like, okay, we're going to have this picture here.
Correct.
Writing here. But the hardware, well, I shouldn't say it like that. I mean, without the structure, you don't have a web.
They go hand in hand, and you can't have one without the other. I mean, they're both very important. And then what we really focus on is search engine optimization, because that is how businesses make money from their website. So if you're not generating phone calls from a website, it is our belief that you have a very expensive business card. So it's great to have a website, but if you're not using it as a tool that then pays for itself, you're missing out on a gigantic opportunity. And that's we're IT, and we're web development, and we're search engine optimization. That's where we focus.
So that's interesting to me. So I like how you've put that. You've put it in a way that I haven't quite heard before. The emphasis on the key word there, you have a very expensive business card. Yeah. So I like how you said that. So are all businesses able to get a payback? Or certain industries better than others?
Sure, there are definitely certain industries. It all depends on how much competition that you have in your industry of how successful you'll be. So there's only 8 to 10 spots on the first page of Google. And I say Google, there's 300 different national search engines, but the big gorilla in the industry is Google. So when I say Google, it's really a reference to all of them.
Okay.
So we optimize for Google, but if you optimize correctly for Google search engine, you're doing it for all of them. Okay. So we care about those 8 to 10 first spots, but really when you get into it, you find out the very first organic link, which is typically underneath the 3-pack or the local search area. That's the first link. That's what 73% of people click on.
They do.
So we won't take on any more than 3 customers in the same industry because the top 3 positions are the most important, and we don't feel we can answer to a customer in a geographic area if we have 22 customers.
Gotcha. And that makes sense. So let me ask you this. This is then a question that relates to that.
Sure.
So you do a lot of SEO. Mm-hmm. There's probably other companies.
Absolutely.
Everywhere does SEO.
You bet.
So how do you get – I guess the question is they want their customers top 3. Let's say same industry, an architect, a landscaper.
Sure.
They have 3 landscapers. You have 3. And about 1,000 other companies
Absolutely.
have 3. How does that work then?
So you have to be better at manipulating the website than they are to get to those positions.
And does it like trade?
Oh, no. It can be. You can fight back and forth if there's a lot of competition. It fluctuates. So your ranking fluctuates daily. We provide monthly reports because over that month you'll see a nice transition. You should if you're doing it right.
Yeah.
When you're not doing it right, you don't see that transition. But once you're there, then it's about maintaining. So it really is the new advertising where everybody would do, phone books and that kind of thing before. Most people don't have phone books in their homes anymore. And this is how we find. We pick up our phone and we ask Siri, we ask Google, where do we go for this? Where is the best X, that you're looking for in your geographic area? Yeah. And that's what search engine optimization is.
Now you said the best X.
Yeah, just meaning whatever you're looking for.
That reminds me of ex-wives. Where is the best
conversation?
X-wife? But you just gave me an idea. Where is the best X? We could have a contest, the best ex-wives in the history of ex-wives. Okay, I'm kidding. So it seems challenging. I mean, that means, can you then say that, well, let me ask you.
Sure.
Statistically, how often do you get in the top 3 versus all the competitors in the United States?
So we've only had 2 opportunities in our tenure of not being successful, and we've learned those industries we won't take them as clients because we can't be successful for them.
Okay,
Where
good.
most SEO clients or most SEO companies, number one, they want to be paid up front, which is very interesting. They want large contracts to keep you as a customer.
Right.
And we have a very different philosophy. What we would prefer is we have skin in the game. You pay us monthly. There is absolutely no contract. You don't pay us up front. And as long as you're satisfied, you stay a client. So if you're looking for that type of accountability, then that's why we're different, and that's why we're better than everybody else.
Oh.
We have customers that will speak to our performance, and we're happy to give those out. We also do free evaluations for any potential client. Any customer that doesn't feel comfortable with maybe what they're getting or they don't understand what they're getting, because a lot of people in our industry like to speak technically, and not everyone is technically knowledgeable to what's happening. We will help give you a second opinion, okay? So that to make sure that the other company's doing it honestly. And when they are, fantastic, because it's very hard to understand all of the nuances within search engine optimization.
And it changes.
Yes, all the time.
And that's probably the challenge. So
for us, technically, yes.
So what are typically, let me throw out a couple industries because this is really fascinating to me, and it should be fascinating to all the listeners and everyone that is in business. For example, let's say lawyers. Is that a good industry?
Not for me. That's one we won't. So we can do estate very effectively, estate planning.
Okay.
But personal injury, we won't take on.
There's too many.
Absolutely, and those that are there,
and TV
they have
too.
Yes,
bombarded.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, but they have staffs, full staffs that are dedicated to doing nothing but this.
Okay, good.
So you will not compete against them.
That's smart. You know your boundaries.
Absolutely.
Most businesses don't, and they'll just take on, and then they go, "Whoops, that didn't work." No, you don't experiment with clients. Either you know it or you don't. Right.
And we have experimented with those clients and figured out where we can be successful and where we can't.
Makes sense.
Where we're not,
sure.
we don't.
So lawyers, okay, CPAs?
Yes, very.
So that works?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about like coaching?
Business coaching?
Yeah.
That's a whole nother standpoint.
There's a ton of them all over.
Yeah. If you, how do I not speak negatively? If you are someone that has a lot of experience, yes, you can. The problem is, a business owner has to have humility in order to look for help when they're failing, and most are not willing to admit that they have an issue to look for that. So there's not a lot of search traffic to actually optimize for coaching. If you're looking at, let's say, in Phoenix, the gigantic city, or Scottsdale, okay, you're talking maybe 100 searches a month, maybe.
For coaching?
Yes.
And why?
Business owners are not looking for that. That is a rapport-based business that you have to go find someone that then trusts you in order to get that business. So search is not the greatest for that industry.
Oh, that's interesting. And then you do have these other franchises, action coaching and blah blah.
Yeah.
There's like a ton of them, and I guess the corporate, the parent, does all the or some of the marketing. I suspect.
They do. And if you're in franchising, unless you have it in the UFOC document, which is the regulating document with franchising, that you can have your own standalone website, then typically you're not allowed to, and therefore we can't do franchises for the most part.
Okay.
We can work with the franchisor, but not with the franchisee. So the person that owns the local shop, they typically pay a monthly fee to their franchisor that encompasses a marketing plan, which is and should include SEO.
How about seminars? Is that, specific events?
You can get specific within an industry like that. You would have to do certain, landing pages to track and specifically have enough content to speak to it. But if it's just a single page, we wouldn't do that.
But if you have a seminar company that does regular seminars monthly, that could be good.
Absolutely.
Because people are searching, I suspect, for information on certain things, and it could be one of the topics that
absolutely
absolutely. So that could be a good one. Okay, wow.
We have all kinds, from dentists to granite fabrication installation companies, auto repair. We have a very doctors, gift supply companies, a very wide range of customers.
Wow.
And we typically focus on small to medium business, even as small as the single entrepreneur, all the way up to larger companies.
So when you say small to medium, are you talking in terms of human resources or sales volume?
Yeah, human resources.
Okay.
We don't the sales volume.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And so that's really cool. So. And so it's been would you say, very successful for your customers with SEO?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Can we talk? What about pricing? You said that you're not like others where you have these contracts, but I think you said you get paid after
monthly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
how does that work?
Every industry is different. So some industries don't have as many people doing SEO for their business than others. So what we do is we take a look at how competitive those 8 to 10 spots are, because that's going to equate then to the number of hours we have to dedicate to getting them there.
Sure, that makes sense.
And that all then equates to the price. There are some SEO customers or companies that do a good, better, best package. We feel those are really unethical in our opinion, because if you're going to do it, do it. Don't prolong the success based on you're going to boil it down and not do as much for an entry-level package than you would for a premium package. We believe let's give an honest price for the value and get you there as quickly as we possibly can. Now, the thing is, most SEO companies, if they're honest, which most of them are, will tell you there is absolutely no guarantee. It's like if you did door hangers. They'll give you industry average of what the return of that investment would be, but they're never going to say, we guarantee you're going to get 1% turnaround. As in our industry, we can't make that guarantee.
Right.
We manipulate your website to the best of our ability, and at the end of the day, Google and the other search engines will place you where they feel you should be put. Most of our customers have been very, very successful at getting to the first page because of our efforts.
And what does that equate to usually, on average, getting to the first page and converting it to sale?
That's a great question. So pay-per-click, which is something completely different that you pay for that's advertising on the first page, has an industry average conversion of 1.7% to 3.3%.
Really?
It's a really low conversion rate. SEO has roughly between 10 and 15% conversion. So if you get 100 new visitors to your website, you should get anywhere between 8, which is 8%, or 15 at the top percent. We like to talk about 8 to 10% in our industry. That's what we feel is successful. So if you're getting 8 to 10, now here's the other thing to know. When you get to the first page, you get a lot more solicitations from other companies that want to sell you services. So they're not all going to be sales opportunities.
Oh, wow.
So you have to consider that. You have to consider whether the volume will actually return your investment that you're making.
Right.
And if it doesn't make sense, then don't do it. If you're only willing to do it for 30 days, please, by all means, keep your money. Because you're not going to see any return on investment.
You need, about 3 months at least?
3 to 6 months typically is what we see for the average company to get to the first page. That's just to get there. You don't get phone calls until you're at that first page, because even though you'll run into people that say they go to the second page, they don't.
Yeah.
They just don't. So until you're to the first page, you have to be able to support that budget to then start recouping, and how long is it going to take?
Right.
So that's the key. Where analytics, we do free phone number tracking, so we provide phone numbers to our SEO customers. that allows us to see the number of phone calls that come from the website. It's the only place you put the phone number. So not on business cards, not on print materials, but just on the website. So then along with Google Analytics, we can start to see how many phone calls they're actually receiving. And they can cross-reference the phone numbers they call, how many called, when did they call, if they were answered, the duration of the call, and so that they can actually see an ROI. Because it can be very challenging to determine whether or not it's profitable.
So what would, from the low to the high end be of...
Oh, from SEO pricing?
Yeah.
That's
one
of the small.
range,
No, it's okay.
Oh.
It's fine. It's probably $300 to $500 at the very entry level, all the way up to $3,000, $4,000 a month, depending upon the industry and the vertical.
And that
most or more. The average is around $500 a month.
You have a lot of competitors.
Oh man, lots of companies that say they do SEO.
I know. I haven't. I got to compliment you. You know, we being on radio and then being a CPA. You know, we know a lot of people. We have big pipelines, and I know a lot of people in this industry. But I got to tell you, the way you're describing this is way different than most of them, and that's a compliment.
Thank you. I know it is. I appreciate that very much.
And when I say way different, it means you are pinpointing exactly and informing people what's going to happen and what you won't take, and that's a credit to you. I love companies that say, no, we're not going to even do that industry because you know it's not going to work. Where others will take everyone and anyone usually, and it's more about the money. You're more about the success, I think.
Absolutely, because so here's what really makes us different. We're a small business. So we've done all those things that didn't work.
Yeah.
And luckily, we got through it, and we're still here.
Sure.
But if we wouldn't pay for it, if I wouldn't pay for it as a business owner, I would never ask somebody else to pay for it.
Yeah.
So that's why we talk differently, because we've been there. We've done the door hangers. We've done the guerrilla marketing. We've done all those things. We did the phone book. We found that this works for us. It works for small business, and that's why we do it.
And that's important. How is it going to evolve, in your opinion? I suspect you may have thought about that.
Very much so.
If you're in strategic planning, you got to look at the SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Absolutely.
Again, I'm not really. I don't know a whole lot in this industry. I rely on others. However, I do know that it seems the evolution of technology changes. Boom, 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 second to second.
Sure.
A year from now, 2 years from now, what do you think? Where are we going to be?
Perfect example of this. Year and a half ago, we had the, what would they call it, Mobile-geddon. Okay, when Google made the change where they went to, they said they were going to take down everybody's website that wasn't mobile friendly. And the reason they did that is because iPads and phones and the smartphones, the searches had now starting to outrank or percentage-wise outperform than desktops or laptops.
Yeah.
People are searching on their phone. They're searching on a mobile device.
Right.
So the experience for Google, they said, here's what's going to happen. If you're searching on one of these devices, your website should be optimized for that experience so that their customers have a good experience. If you have a competitor that has everything else exactly the same, but one's responsive, meaning it scales correctly to the right device, and one's not, they would rank naturally equal. If that's the one that's the one thing that separates the two, they're going to rank the person's website or the business's website that has responsiveness over the other. Now, They didn't word it that way. They weren't that clear. They said they're going to turn the other off. Well, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
But what's coming next, because this is the next big evolution, is security. SSL. You talked about it early with Guy, was the security and the hacking.
Right.
So SSL certificates are going to encrypt the web, and Google is pushing for this. So when this happens, it's kind of a painful process for a business owner. It's one of the most challenging things to do, which is make your website secure with an SSL. And this gets to where it's more technical than I can even speak to, because I'm not the guy doing this.
Yeah.
But I have guys that do.
Yeah.
You have to install a certificate that says your website has been verified by the hosting company, whether it's GoDaddy or Network Solutions or any of the big guys, and that you are encrypted, so that nobody can hack. They can't place bad text on your website, all the fun stuff that we all get viruses from in a Windows world today. Okay?
Right.
That is going to help decrease that, which means a better experience for Google's customers, which are the people that use it for search, which are the people that use their products.
So when does that conversion start?
Well, they haven't said that, and they're not going to. They will. All of a sudden, they'll say, okay, we've done this.
And how?
And if you're not SSL, then what?
You're SSL.
Right? Yeah. Then you're really
Wait,
SOL. I think it's the other one.
Oh yeah, but I
yes.
was close enough
You
for
were
Saturday Night Live.
That's exactly right.
So how expensive would this be?
It's not that expensive. It's a difficulty. So the SSL certificates from a GoDaddy or whatever range from, I want to say like $49 a year up to $349, depending upon the type of certificates you need and the amount of traffic.
So you mean you pay like a GoDaddy?
Yes, you buy the certificate from them.
And they take care of it?
Once a year, and it's an annual, or you can buy it for multiple years.
But you can't do it now.
Yeah, you can do it now. You absolutely can, but getting your website to work with the SSL?
Hacked, and we got it. Well, it's all fixed, but
sure,
it was sort of a pain.
Were your WordPress, your website?
Yeah.
That is the number one most common platform. That's like being Windows. Okay, you equate it the same way because you have the most people on the web using WordPress. They're the biggest target. Same with, it's why Apple can't get infected. That's not true.
Right,
they can, but if you're going to write something that's going to steal money from people, are you going to go after the 97 percentile or the 3% market share?
Right.
So that's why
it makes sense.
That's what happens with WordPress.
So if we did that now, it would be protected and we wouldn't get hacked?
Yes, if installed correctly and configured, absolutely.
And they install it?
No, they typically do not install the SSL.
You install it?
You install as a business owner.
How do I install?
You hire a company like us that
How
actually
much is
that
then?
So it depends on what type of SSL it is, but for something like that, it'd be a flat rate, whether it's $99 if it's a very entry-level, very simple. If you're our SEO client, guess what we do for free?
Okay.
So we add...
So it's not terribly expensive.
No, not at all. No, but you have to do it yearly or as many years as you purchase it once.
I should probably do it.
You probably should. You probably should.
I mean, since we got it, I think we're okay
you also
now.
have to understand that your website has to run effectively in an SSL environment, so it's a little bit more challenging.
So that's really interesting. Wow, so that's the next big thing. And is there anything you could see even past that would be, I mean, things change?
That's really, I mean, it changes. Little things change on a regular basis, but that's the big one that
right.
we know is coming, that Google is talking about coming.
So you got to keep up to date.
Correct. The other big one that took place already was the big change in the local. It used to be Google Places, and now it's Google My Business, where it used to display 7 different local businesses when you're looking for the results, and it would give you those. Now it shows 3, and you have to drive into or drill down into it to find the more results.
Okay.
There's rumors that that's going to be pay-to-play like pay-per-click because they're losing. It's not as...
There's that term again, pay-to-play.
Yes.
But anyway.
Yeah, they're an advertiser. That's what Google is.
Oh, okay.
They're an advertising company.
No, but I hear it on NBC. Anyway, that's a different topic.
That's a totally different topic.
So that's really important. Now, this is probably an easy answer. But believe it or not, there are some people that still don't have websites.
Absolutely.
Is that sort of... They're way out of date, right?
Well... Yes, but it happens. And what for the small business, which is typically who our client is, I would really warn you to do your research before making a decision. So if you're looking at Weebly or Wix or these type of companies where you can design your own website, okay, those are great. But if you ever want to market it, you can't. I can't do SEO on it for them.
Oh.
The reason being, and not because I want to earn their business, but if you want to actually derive revenue from your website, you don't want to use those platforms because they own the back end, the code that we would manipulate, and they wouldn't give us access. And I don't blame them, but so therefore, any real SEO that can be done, it can't be on those platforms.
So okay, so then basically, do they own the website too? Then,
not the customer, the company. So Wix and Weebly owns the website. If you go to transfer,
so
they may allow you to. They may allow you to move it. I wouldn't. I don't know.
So that could be a problem.
Absolutely could be, but I don't know that for sure.
Okay. Now, what if a company they weren't, the revenue generating from the website? Yeah, it's important, but what is more important is to increase traffic.
That's one and the same thing.
It is.
That is one and the same thing, because without traffic, you can't grow revenue. So, because if nobody's coming to your website, nobody's going to call you. And so increasing traffic is how you increase revenue.
Because let's put it this way. Let's say, let's pick an industry. Yeah, radio show. That's right.
There you go.
So what if you have a series of radio shows and you want to increase traffic, and sometimes there's a reason to do that, because sometimes if you you go to PR people, or and they're going to ask a bunch of questions, and one of them is how much traffic or listeners you have, or traffic
what's
you
your
have,
listenership,
and that in it by itself is critical. And of course, we've been around so long that we don't have any trouble usually getting anywhere, because we've had some pretty good guests like Kathy Griffin, Bill Maher,
absolutely,
Tom Arnold, a bunch of people. Marlon Wayans. Yeah, there's a whole list. And then I'm trying to get the picture back up with me and Jane Seymour. Yes, Jane Seymour. She's a little older, but beautiful nevertheless still. But anyway, the point is for maybe new radio type people, because if you don't have the numbers, so often, you're competing against their time. Big stars, they're inundated, like, a guy like Bill Maher, Kathy Griffin. I mean, you know how many requests they'll get?
Of course.
So how do you get it? It's almost like, how do you get in the top 3 or top 5 for their benefit? So increasing traffic that way, is there other methods along with what you said?
Yeah, the best thing for you or any YouTuber that's wanting to start is all about titling, how you title your video or your vlog or your radio show.
So titling, what do you mean
when you go to any website or any vlog or YouTube station, you look at the titles. Look at what is working when you search something and see how they title it, because that's the number one thing that they use. It's the most important. It's the very first thing that they use to put people in front of you, or you in front of them, I should say. And so if your title's bad, or it's it makes a lot of sense to you, but it may not make sense to your listenership, then you're doing something wrong. So that's the easiest thing you can do is title it. For example, if you got Bill Maher coming on, put Bill Maher in the name of the video, or the name of the radio show. I mean, starring today Bill Maher. I mean, my God, yes, you're going to get traffic.
And we did find that when we put, we cover like the Phoenix Mercury, for example. You put Diana Taurasi, boom.
Yeah, you have traffic.
Or Brittany Griner, boom. Absolutely. It does attract all over the world, I think. And they get the biggest. And Kathy Griffin certainly.
Absolutely. As long as you're you're submitting that then through the Webmaster Tools, and you have all of the things set up correctly on your website, then those names will be seen and viewed by the search engines.
So it's got to be integrated,
Absolutely.
And that's where you come in. How about content? Is that important? You have
number one most important thing behind titling.
Really?
Yes. There's a specific. So within all of these categories, so you have to understand what happens. Google sends out spiders or bots on a monthly basis, or really instantaneously, to crawl websites. And when you do so, there is a mathematical equation that they figured out yes or no answers to. It's check 1 for yes, check 2 for no. So you either have the positive or you have the negative, which is the no. So they go and it checks down. Well, the first thing it sees is the page description or title, So you have to make sure it's within their regulations of how long that they want those. Well, you have to know that information. You have to know how to title it correctly, that it actually speaks to what's on the page. If you don't title it or have a correct URL actually match what's on the page, those are negatives. And so they go down and they read the information. They can't read videos. They can't read pictures. So you have to title them. Well, how do you title them? There's the H1 tag, which is the title of the show, or what you're using as an example, or the video. Title it correctly so that they understand what it is and make sure it matches the others before that. Okay? And then moving down on a picture, it's called alt text. Okay? That's the background title text that it actually can read what the picture is. So title it appropriately. Whatever that video is about, put that as the title. Now, there are certain stipulations you have to stay within, length of characters, how many characters to use, all that kind of stuff. And that's where your expert comes in to help you fine-tune that information.
Well, that makes sense.
But then the content has to say what it is that's on that page. And there's a specific number of words that should be hit. There's a threshold. Some people say 250, some people say more. What I will tell you is you hit 300 words on every single page of your website of unique content, you will benefit.
300 or more?
300 words. You can go more, but not less.
Oh, wow. So really, if you have content,
there's a lot more. There's about 160 different things that it calculates in that algorithm, but there are very important ones that just the business owner can do without having to hire anyone. Content is king.
and it should be new, fresh. How often do you
not repeated? So don't say the same thing on every single page of your website. It's a massive negative.
But I mean, if you have like some articles,
a blog,
a blog type of thing, how often should you be blogging?
It's a great question. Minimum of once a month. The more you do it, the better off you will be. But at minimum, once a month, 300 words.
Wow, that's interesting. I would have thought it would be more.
And the more you do it, the better you are off. You'll get better benefit. But the minimum you have to do it is once a month.
That's interesting. That's good to know. Yeah, that is. There's so much to know, and that's sort of the sad part. People go into business, and either they don't have the budget, or they don't think they do, or they don't, work it out so they do have the budget. That's probably the better way to look at it.
Sure.
And so they might be missing out on maybe a lot of interesting things that can increase their business. Perhaps.
Absolutely.
And so let's see. So we talked about SEO, a bit about social media. Or actually...
the one big thing with social media to know is that it's a branding mechanism. So once they are your customer, you want to continue to be in front of them. So we always recommend that you do it.
And what would that include?
Facebook, Twitter, those types of things. LinkedIn, depending upon the company.
So those are the big three?
Probably. And then obviously YouTube is the biggest.
Oh, it is?
Oh, absolutely. It's owned by Google. So they say they don't give you... extra clout for using related services, but I will tell you that you're better off doing it.
Yeah, they probably do, I bet. Wow, so that's really interesting. So
we have people that we work with that we recommend for social media management.
Oh, really? Okay, so YouTube. How about Facebook Live? I've seen that recently.
It's an interesting rendition of Periscope. So that it's
a good deal.
It's free. I mean, you can do it absolutely, but again, it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah,
and it's if you're adding valuable content, then yes, it's why not? But I would strongly still tell you to do YouTube.
Yeah, so that's still that's owned by Google. You said
absolutely.
Yeah, so that's big. So now, of course, IT we haven't talked too much about. Sure. And that's how you started it all, anyway. And
because at the heart of it, we are nerds, so that's what we do.
Wait, what is that? The Geek Squad.
Yes,
different competitor. And but anyway, how important is it? I mean, a machine breaks down. Well, tell us what IT means to you.
We would look. The way we deal with IT is we would like to turn the desktop into a consumable, so that when it does break, they're not down. Okay, that's the big thing. So you want to back up. You want to make sure your information's in the cloud in one way or the other, whatever shape that looks like, whether it's, AWS, the largest Amazon cloud, or you want to go to Google, or you want to go to
Mozy?
OneDrive or Mozy, yes.
A backup, pretty good?
We don't suggest it, but it's not bad. That is, look, Carbonite, Mozy, they're all the same. As long as you get it up there into the cloud to where you take out fire, flood, and theft from your physical location, you're better off.
Is there a particular company that might be over Carbonite and Mozy?
It depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for desktop only, then yes, Carbonite's fantastic. If you're looking for server, our branded Black Box Consulting.
You have
one.
We
have one. It's for servers so that it's next day response. So here's the big thing. You put 100 gigs of information up into the cloud. How do you get it back quickly? It takes hours to download that.
Yeah.
So with us, the way we differentiate ourselves in the backup is we actually will be at your physical location the next business day with your data for you to get you back up and running.
So that's good.
Absolutely.
Dude. So yeah, we have Mozy. It seems to work pretty good.
It does. It works fine.
Is it a little bit? But Carbonite's a little bit maybe easier, or
they're
about the same.
They're about the same. Yeah. As long
both
as you
pretty
can,
big, right?
Yeah. As long as you can get your data back, that really is the only thing that matters.
And we've been able to do that thus far.
Then that's the big key. So we take care of businesses. We don't do residential. We support server migrations, implementing new Exchange servers, even though that's becoming less and less as we offer hosted Exchange, which is up in the cloud with Microsoft.
As a server, you mean?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely, because then all of your email are already up there. You take all that pressure off your local.
I didn't know. So the days of buying a server
coming to an end.
It's gone.
Not gone, because you still need local file access occasionally. But what it's done is decrease the cost of a server. So because you don't need this gigantic server to just do file sharing.
I think we have something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember now. I'll have to show you.
And that's where we come in. We do free IT assessments.
Yeah, so that's really good stuff.
Absolutely.
Wow, so this is really exciting. A lot of good things that you're doing, and I could tell the level of sophistication is way up there. Do you have how many people do you have?
5 people.
5?
Total.
Well, that's good. I mean, you don't need more than that.
We grow as our business grows,
and that
same with our customers.
That makes total sense. So, how do people get in touch with you then?
They can find us on the web at consultblackbox.com, or they can go to they can call us at 602-266-0042.
Wow, that's awesome. So there's a lot of good stuff here, and you're really in a great position, I think, Brian, to really distinguish yourself. I mean, you have this 1 hour already, in my opinion, and I think that's critical. You see, what's important to me is someone knowing their stuff, and there's no question about it. You know it.
Thank you.
2, you're welcome. And 2, and not as is important, not 1 and 2 in priority.
Sure.
The honesty, integrity. You've got that.
That's huge. Well, I appreciate that.
That is huge.
Yeah. It's why we got into this business, because IT, anything technical is like any other technical business, whether it's auto mechanic. You have to find those people we're all, they're out there. You just have to find the ones that act with integrity and stand behind their